STEM Lesson Overview by Mr. Kratzer. In this lesson, I'll be presenting the first in a series of lessons exploring the invention process to a Year 7 students in my STEM class. This class is comprised of 26 students, some of which have a diverse learning needs, including Liam with autism spectrum disorder and Sarah with vision impairment. As such, I will be focusing on AITSL Standards 1.5 and 4.1, differentiate my teaching to meet specific needs and support students' full participation in learning. The lesson will be based on a CARA curriculum codes displayed on the screen, and as you will see here, allows students to produce design solutions and select appropriate materials and tools to develop their ideas. The lesson is based on project-based learning methodology, as according to researchers from the Minnesota State University, this allows students to create projects that result in meaningful learning experiences. This lesson touches on several general capabilities students use literacy to comprehend text through listening and viewing, ICT skills to investigate and create with ICT, personal and social capability as they appreciate diverse perspectives and understand how they can contribute to civil society. Additionally, students will use critical and creative thinking as they generate ideas and reflect on their thinking processes. In this lesson, we will explore the invention process, exploring ways to improve quality of life for people with disabilities and begin to apply our student learning to following their own invention process. By the end of this lesson, the students will be able to demonstrate their understanding of the invention process and begin to research and design and develop a new design for a wheelchair that can tackle rough terrain. This lesson follows the students' previous learning about the design processes using both manual and digital processes. Students have looked at innovations and discussed the way innovation and inventions can improve the quality of life for individuals and societies. I will now take you through my lesson and explain some of the elements I have used. Students in this lesson will be asked to explore the invention process, view a video about people who have created an alternative wheelchair design, and then engage in their own invention process. To ensure my pedagogy is student-centric, I have adopted an authentic and real-world problem that allows students to investigate and respond to a difficult problem, namely, how can we improve the quality of life for people in wheelchairs? Students will be exploring this concept over a number of weeks and will be seeking to solve a real-world problem by developing their understanding of technologies, the invention process, and the challenges faced by many people in wheelchairs. This approach is supported by extensive academic research, and authors Abdullah Muhammad and Saleh have highlighted the fact that STEM project-based approach is valuable in enhancing conceptual understanding and inventive thinking skills among secondary school students. As you're aware, I believe that whoever does the work does the learning, and it is my goal to have my students learn in a highly authentic and engaging way. This cohort particularly loves to create and work together, so I have lent into this idea and I have considered my lesson. I will be using a variety of techniques in my delivery, including think, pair, share, explicit instruction, worksheets, wandering support, random questioning, and project-based learning. In the first instance, I will clearly introduce the topic and have the intentions of the lesson detailed on the whiteboard. This ensures that all students have a clear idea of what to expect for the lesson. I'm using Think, Pair, Share so that the students have the opportunity to explore these concepts together and then share if they are comfortable. This cooperative learning strategy maximizes all student learning as they share information with and learn from each other. According to researchers Sharma and Sasar, this strategy encourages students to play a proactive role by participating in classroom interaction, at the same time help them in creating a lively environment by meaningful discussions. I will also utilize a seating plan to ensure the class has the best chance of productivity. Students will also be collaboratively learning as they work in groups of 2 or 3 and have been organized based on student ability and support students with differentiated learning needs. This style of learning is supported by 4 diverse learners, Ashman and Gillies in the International Handbook of Collaborative Learning. Students will have access to brain break cards that they can use when they need them as opposed to class-wide breaks. This is to provide students with autonomy. I'm providing the students with access to Tinkercad as this is the key platform that students have been exploring this term. They learn to navigate the world of 3D printing and design. I aim to keep my students using the program and resources consistently throughout the term, as this will ensure that they are really familiar and comfortable with it ahead of their summative assessment. Tinkercad also provides the worksheets that students will work through to scaffolding their thinking as they design their wheelchairs, which will allow students who are working more quickly to work ahead. During this lesson, I will be walking through the classroom offering support and asking open-ended and closed questions to students randomly so that I can identify which students need more support if they're not on task. This serves to differentiate my support provision, check for understanding, and also provide thorough behavior management support to ensure all students have the opportunity to engage with their learning. In order to support my students with their learning needs and ensure they can access their education on the same basis as their peers, I have adopted several evidence-based strategies as per the recommendation of authors Garrard, Villek, and Liam is already familiar with work systems as described in the work of Chandran and others in 2009. I will ensure that he has copies of worksheets printed so that he can place them in his to-do folder and move them across to the finish section once he has completed his work. I will also ensure that I write the lesson objectives on the board ahead of the lesson so that both Liam and other students can be clear on the expected tasks for completion. Importantly, I've allocated student group based on how I believe the students will work best together. In group 9, I have placed Liam, who will be able to engage effectively with him without overwhelming him. I also plan to allow this group to work outside the classroom, breakout space to ensure that the inevitable rise in volume in the room from the group will not impact Liam's capacity to re-engage with the task. I've placed Sarah with Jamie and Liam as I know that both of these students have a good relationship with her and I have witnessed them happily speaking slowly and clearly when they interact with her. As Sarah has hearing impairment, she will be seated in the front of the classroom and I'll speak clearly as always facing the front to ensure she can hear me well. All instruction in this lesson will also be accessible on a digital platform, ensuring Sarah has multiple avenues to understand the task requirements. Lastly, I will check in regularly with Sarah and Liam during the group work portion of the class to ensure they understand the learning. Throughout this discussion, I've explained various tools I will use to ensure students understanding the content engaging with. I plan to use Think Pair Share to establish a baseline of knowledge and allow students to learn collaboratively. I will walk the classroom to ensure that I am consistently checking that students understand and are engaged with the learning material. I will also plan to use random questioning to ask students to explain their thinking or work so that I can ensure that there isn't just one student doing the majority of the work for the group. In this way, I can also extend the student understanding using higher order thinking questions or scaffold learning in students who may be struggling with key concepts. This method of assessment also allows me the opportunity for one-to-one time with Sarah and Liam so that I can ensure that they are on task and fully understand the task expectations. This will ensure that they are fully supported while not calling attention to the additional needs of their peers. Hope this has given you a good idea of how I plan to execute the lesson. I welcome any feedback or suggestions you have to offer. Thank you.